Hi Gemini, we're here with a general reading. Before we get into it, let's set the intention for this to be a space where everyone allows themselves to feel seen and validated, and ultimately for this to be a safe space and a healing space in alignment with everyone's highest good. What I'm seeing is you being in a spot, whatever the situation may have been. For some of you, this can be a relationship. For others of you, it can be a work situation. It can be a friendship. Anything going on where you are connecting with another person or another thing, can be like the company that you were working for, things like this. You even like taking your car somewhere to get it worked on. There may have been a situation where there was like a lack of equality, where you were either like overpaying or you were putting in a lot of work and really like not seeing money in return, or you were showing up 100% in a relationship. You didn't feel like that exchange, that dynamic was equal for you. And I'm seeing something that with the Ten of Swords, it's like you would have kind of seen this coming. That doesn't make it hurt any less, but I am seeing something come to an end because you feel like there was a lack of equality within a situation, a lack of showing up, and feeling like getting to a point where you look yourself in the mirror and you're like, if I continue doing this, I'm not valuing myself within this situation. And that's why things needed to come to an end. So I'm seeing something has now come to an end. I'm seeing you walk away from this situation, even though there can absolutely be residual pain. Gemini, what I'm, hold on. For those of you that are going to feel this, Gemini Venus, Gemini Mars, Gemini, we're getting everything. Gemini Mercury, Moon, Rising, Sun can feel it too. Depending on the placement, it's going to kind of tell you what area of life this is in for you. If you're a Gemini Moon, this may be like more of an emotional relationship for you. If you're Gemini Rising, this can be like a physical relationship of yours, or somewhere where like physically you're not going to be engaging in anymore, whether this be like showing up at a particular job or what have you. But yeah, okay. As I was saying, let's get back on the track where we were going before. Even though you're walking away from this, potentially feeling residual pain from this experience, at the same time I was seeing the Empress pop out, showing up. So this is you being like, I made the empowered choice here. I did what I needed to do. I'm not thinking about what happens if I do this, like the end result of this, this, and that. It's like, what do I need to do here within this moment? Let me think about it. Let me get to it. Let me do what needs to be done. So just like handling things as they come. Taking care of you especially. Four of Swords, recharging. Seems like you're preparing for a big change or a transition. Kind of getting like rest in or self-care before you start the next cycle that's going to be beginning for you. Yeah. Whatever this was that you were engaging in, it may have been fun, but at the same time you felt like you weren't getting what you needed. Or that you weren't being treated, or how you wanted to be treated, or you weren't being valued. Or just that you're ready for more, maybe something more in depth. I'm seeing you also want to wait for a situation to pop up where you feel like there is... It's like you want to do something or be involved with someone that you feel a deep sense of passion for, and you want that to be balanced and equal within the dynamic, whether this be you like working with people that are passionate about what they're doing, or you being in a relationship or getting to know somebody that's like attracted to you or feeling very passionately towards you and wanting that to be a mutual thing. I'm seeing something that you're recognizing as part of your value system right now, currently, and also something that's going to be worth the wait for you. With the Seven of Pentacles here, this means like, this is what I want, I'm going to wait for it, I'm not going to rush the process, I'm not going to compromise here. This is not something I want to negotiate. It's not a value that I want to negotiate. Whatever this was that had been escaping you before, I'm seeing it make a lot of sense. But before, for some reason, something hadn't been. Like, I'm seeing Neptune have to do with this. So Neptune can come into play and be making all of these promises, and then what ends up happening is they're not being followed through with the promises, whether this be what you were projecting onto a situation or what somebody was telling you, and it's almost like hard to see the truth within a situation. But I'm seeing that the way that you cut through to the truth is connecting with your values, and that's kind of what cleared things up for you when things had been maybe more on the emotionally confusing side. Helped you see something you needed to see. And also, yeah, maybe whatever this was that was pursuing you, again, whether this be like a person or a company, a job, something like that, it's almost like it would kind of build you up and make you feel like, oh, I'm so wanted here, but at the same time, it was like not following through with what it was promising you and keeping you in a space where you were like, well, is it this or is it this? What's going on here? Feeling confused emotionally about the situation in general, how you're feeling towards it, the other side, like not really clarifying things for you, like whatever the other end of this was that you were dealing with. But I'm seeing you get to a point where you're like, just standardly, I need to figure out my values in a situation, what I'm okay negotiating on or compromising on, and then what I'm not. And then I'm seeing you get to a point where you're like, I'm beginning to really make this situation out very clearly in a way that I hadn't been seeing it before. And I get that I can be in this and I can be playing this game for a very long time. Whatever this energy is, it definitely is engaging with you and being like, hey, I'm showing up. You want to play a game with me, but it's like not the type of game that you want to be playing is what this looks like. So I'm seeing you get to a point where through Neptune, moving through a Neptunian process is difficult because what Neptune does is it is a reflective mirror to us. And so if you are reflecting like a fantasy or a desire, or like, I wish for one day that it's going to work out like this, it will reflect that back at you, but it won't really show up. It won't really manifest nor materialize. That's the thing with Neptune. It's connected more with a desire space and less so a realistic space where it's actually going to come to fruition. And I'm seeing something that was definitely like feeling mind-boggling in a way. Now, I want to definitely say this. All of us have the capacity to be affected by Neptune in this way. This doesn't mean anything about like you not being smart or anything like that. When it comes to Neptune, like all of us can be tricked by Neptune because it's a reflection of literally exactly what you want to see in a situation. So it can be very, very confusing. Very confusing. Neptune is like the trickiest of them all. Always. So when we have, say, like a Neptune contact with somebody, it has this feeling like everything is ideal and everything is perfect. And it's like as that starts rubbing off, it's kind of like the spell of Neptune. As that starts rubbing off for you, you start seeing the truth. But it's a very confusing and groggy process. It's kind of like being in a fun house, where you feel like sort of disoriented, but at the same time you kind of think that you're seeing things clearly, but then it turns out that you weren't seeing everything clearly and that something else is going on behind it. It's like a mask sort of energy. So this is about cutting through, which I'm seeing you do here. It's like whatever this fogginess is that came about because of Neptune, I'm seeing there be this cutting through here. And then I'm seeing you get to a point where you're like, okay, now I can see this very clearly. This situation is not going to be what I need it to be. We're going to keep doing this dance. I don't find it to be a fulfilling one, and I need to move out of this space. And I'm seeing you get to that point where you're recognizing this. For some of you, you didn't make this move yet, but you are getting to the point of you are going to be making this move, Gemini. I am hearing with this person, so I guess for many of you, this was somebody that you were dealing with. To have the Knight of Wands, let's talk about this. This is somebody that you've been dealing with where there can be like a lot of physical attraction. This person, I definitely get the sense of them pursuing you in a way that you would like, for sure. But when it comes to something deeper, when it comes to your deeper value system, I'm seeing that there was a lack of compatibility, we can say. So it's like on some levels, absolutely, you were connecting with this person, looking for something more deeply. I'm not really seeing anything below the surface here. And it seems like you're getting to that point where you're like, I tried it out. I wanted to see how things would go. I'm seeing you get to a point where you're realizing that when it comes to whatever else it was that you were looking for, it's like you can keep digging. You're not going to find that, essentially. I'm looking at the Hierophant. This is Taurus energy too. May have a particular Taurus placement. Could be dealing with a Taurus. Because of how this person was showing up and pursuing you, that could have had you feeling like, oh, maybe we do share the same values, or maybe they are going to be able to give me what I want or what I need. But I'm seeing you get to a point where, like, this is the realization that you're not going to find what you need to satisfy you. And that's what the walking away is about. But yeah, it could have been something that was, like, just a generally confusing situation where it was unclear. A lot of things were unclear. And that's very archetypal for a Neptunian thing that we have going on, where it's like it could be this answer, it could be that answer, I'm not really sure. There's like a lack of truth, a lack of clarity in it, but there are like many options where you're like not really sure. It's like it can be all the way over there, it can be all the way over here. Could have also been something with words. Yes. Somebody may have been like verbally painting a very nice picture, but when it came to behavior and action, not much was being followed up on. I'm also seeing you get to a point where you're like, you know what, if I want this particular thing, I'm gonna have to be the one to create this. I will say this again. I'm getting like a strong physical attraction that you had with somebody that may have been confusing emotionally for you. It's kind of like, oh, we're compatible, like maybe physically with one another, but when it came to emotions, it could have been having you think that maybe emotionally you're compatible, or at least confused, or like maybe we could be, but I'm seeing you get to a point where you realize that something is not the case. Like, maybe you also felt like this person played too much. Or just, like, maybe weren't as focused as you. Alright. So, I'm seeing you also really focusing on your responsibilities here, too. So, you may have left whatever was going on with that person and move to a space where you're focusing more on like your career, your responsibilities. There could be a particular position or aspiration that you are finally getting to and accomplishing that means a lot to you. This is like taking up a role that feels very special to you. I'm seeing this is where you're channeling your energy now. This is something that's taking time, but I'm seeing you on definitely the path to success here. Yeah, it turns out that you didn't feel particularly happy. See, the question was in this situation is, It was wondering if this could be what you wanted it to be, if this could be what you needed it to be, if you could find, or if you were pursuing your happiness with this person. But again, I'm getting it kind of be like there wasn't a yes or there wasn't a no. It's like maybe I could have found that, maybe I wasn't going to find that, but something then becomes clear to you where you're like, oh, I'm not going to find what I'm looking for here. That's just being said over and over and over again. But it took you spacing yourself away from this person. Like I'm seeing you took a break from something, and that's what gave you the clarity that you needed. If you hadn't taken that break, or if you hadn't pulled back and done whatever this was, where there was more of a, like, let me get into my own space and, like, not be taking on anyone's projected energy, let me just feel my own energy. If you hadn't done this, this situation may not have become clear to you. It's almost like, I do get the feeling, like, Neptune can really be a spell that you feel with somebody where, like, the closer you are with them, the more confusing and blurry things get. But then when you kind of break apart and you're like, let me connect with my own energy and kind of clear out everybody else's energy, and let me just like focus on mine and ask myself what I need here and do that, it's kind of like that seems like it broke something open enough for you to see the truth of what was going on here within this situation. And kind of like I'm hearing get your facts right, get your facts straight. So something became clear to you that you needed to see about like your true fulfillment and like what your heart really is desiring. But you could have been definitely thrown off when you were in the midst of whatever this was that was going on. So again, I'm seeing you taking a break as having been very, very pivotal to kind of get everything else to fall into place here with this person and yourself. And it does look like you are going to, it does definitely look like there's a change of focus for you, and I'm seeing it be connected with the King of Pentacles. So this can be like career, job, finances, paying bills, financial independence, your independence in general, being able to take care of yourself, supply yourself with what it is that you need. It can be you being your own boss, so many different situations, all connected with the 3D. So your responsibilities within like the physical earth realm that you are focusing on. And again, like potentially a position or a role that you wanted to play that felt very important to you, that I'm seeing you're building up towards, that you feel very strongly like this is definitely connected with my pursuit of happiness here and something personally on a personal level that I want to be doing for myself. So now that's becoming very clear to you too. Definitely look like you're bossing up, Gemini, in a big way. Okay, we are looking at Neptune, Mercury, Cancer. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everybody for joining. Thank you for connecting. I'm wishing everybody love and light and healing, and I hope to catch you guys next time.